Hello? Hello, now the microphone is working. Let's start to the stream. Welcome back to Touring Cars Cup, part of the GT driver career. The big World Series here in CLR, so round 6 today at Barcelona, the national layout, and I have the qualifying results for you on the screen. So Blasi with pole position. On his first flying lap, he did that 15.4, Jaeger in P2, close gaps, racing P3 alongside with Richie in the second row, then Shelty and Nick, third row start. Row number 4, we have Stu and BMO, and then let's have a look at the second page. So we have Rick, 9 drivers today. Here competing 4 points in the championship. So, let's quickly have a look at the race settings. So, sunny conditions all the way, late morning. So, that's all you need to know probably. So we get rid of that and we jump into the replay. Again, 40 minutes of racing. Racing medium tires are available for the drivers. And then here we go. Let's wait for the lights. And we're off. Good start for Blasi. Jaeger on the inside, B racing. Right behind. Takes a look, no, goes around the outside. There's Richie on the inside. Finds a gap for Scirocco. Tries to go into P2. It's B racing on the inside, Richie on the outside. Who gets the better run? I think it's Richie for now, who has track position. B racing on the outside, Jaeger on the inside for the next right-hander on the inside. That was also Nick briefly in the Peugeot. Shelty going wide early on. Braking for the hairpin. Richie got a penalty. Early to be racing third, Jaeger fourth. We see Nick makes a move on BMO, but has a penalty as well. Shelty in P7, Rick in 8th, and Stu with a little gap in P9. Currently the first time through that final chicane. It is the championship leader, pole setter, starting lap number 2. Richie taking the penalty, so he will lose that position to B racing. Oh, can he keep that position? Yes, the inside line for the braking zone for national layout. The other hairpin and keeps that P3 just for now. Jaeger P4. Shelty with some moves. The other drivers getting some penalties and serving them. Definitely help for Shelty. So Shelty P5, BMO P6, and that Scirocco. Rick in the Audi TT in 7th. Nick after serving the penalty down to P8 for now. And Stu has a penalty himself now. Penalty line just after the finish line on the main straight. So not an ideal place, definitely, for the drivers to serve the penalty. And what is an ideal place, after all, for serving penalties? It's still a very compact grid on the opening laps. Richie with another penalty. It looks like the top 2, they will be running away with it. Blasi B racing and Richie and Jaeger. A little gap to Shelty. But it looks like Shelty is on a mission. He's pushing, closing that gap pretty fast. Got himself now a little bit of breathing room to the chase group, BMO and Nick. They go side by side for a brief moment into the second hairpin. BMO keeps the position. Rick still close at the two TTs at the back of the grid, while we have a TT leading, heading into the chicane once again, avoiding the first part of the chicane with the curbs and focusing on the exit. So Richie with that penalty now. He loses that position. And what about Shelty with the run on the inside? Gets 2 for 1. So from P5 to P3 for Shelty. The Mazda power once again strikes. Between BMO and Nick. Still a close one. Will Nick go for a move? No, BMO is defending the inside line. Gets a compromised run opportunity for Nick. Now they go side by side. Once again, hanging it around the outside is quite tricky though. For now, it stays as it is, and Rick with a little mistake dropped down to P9 and out of slipstream range. So we see a move now coming out of the final chicane. Nick got the better run, so can he keep that position? That is the question. At the front, Shelty closed that gap. Shelty was pushing 15.7 early on, and it looks like that Lazi and P Racing, they're on a tire and fuel saving strategy, not really pushing that hard. Shelty seems to be all out with pace and fuel. In the mirrors, you also see Jaeger and Richie not too far behind, but nearly out of that slipstream range. And with that massive top end in the Mazda, we might see a move happening. Shelty sends it the inside, and again another 2-4-1 into the lead for the TCR driver. So Mazda leading, Audi in P2, VW P3, Suzuki P4, and there is a little gap to Richie now, I think due to another penalty. Still think he is able to close that gap again. Nick got past BMO with the penalty now. Will that gap be enough to keep that P6? That will be the question. BMO and Stu really close. Behind the Scirocco. Let's see. Looks to be like roughly a second, so Nick might be safe from an overtake. He covers the inside line. So it's just enough for now. P6 for the German driver, P7 for our Belgian friend, and Stu also joining this party side by side once again. Close racing. What happened to Rick? Lost again a little bit of time. 17.5, 17.8. And we see a bit of contact, maybe BMO versus Nick. Opportunity for Stu maybe to get that position. He got past BMO though. That is correct. Let's go to the top where we see the front. Richie closing that gap. Jaeger also caught up with the B Racing and Blasi. It looks like tire management, fuel management will be the key to success for this race. The pit loss is quite big here at Barcelona at this short layout. So maybe some of the drivers attempt a no-stop strategy. It won't be easy. I'm pretty sure that Shelty is pushing and goes for a pit stop halfway through that race, probably. Blasi B Racing. Jaeger, quite similar at this stage. Richie as well used a little bit more fuel compared to the drivers in P2, 3 and 4. And then we join the battle between Nick, Stu and BMO. With the Peugeot still leading. And we see different approaches for that entry, the final chicane. Nick jumping over the entry curb, Stu avoiding it. Just seeing a move, maybe. E-Racing up a position. E2 Blasi into the third. Jaeger stays in fourth. We have to jump back and forth with the racing action happening everywhere. Let's get BMO's point of view. We see in the distance Rick's still there. Little mistake, one of the drivers, and he could join this fight hopefully once again. Oh, late on the brakes. A bit of a dive, not sure if this was intentional. Oh, stay with Stu. Overshot the entry into the final sector and gets a decent run. Still has a nice little bit of slipstream down the main straight, but so has BMO. Ooh, a penalty for the Belgian driver. Went around the outside. Where's the car? Oh. Was looking for it. Couldn't get it completed. But despite all the fighting, they are not really losing time. To Nick in front. I think that is good news for both of the drivers. Oh, different lines, a interesting cutback approach around the outside, so difficult. The understeer is real. Early upshift to help with the understeer. It could have ended way worse. So a little bit of contact in those Group 4 FF cars. It's a little bit, touring car racing style, so elbows out, a little bit of contact, all square and fair. And as expected, Shelty is pushing. He opened up that gap, 3-4 seconds maybe. at this stage. Tire situation, fuel situation, not much difference between B Racing and Blasi. Jaeger as well. The fuel a bit lower in his Suzuki Swift. What about Richie? Yeah, fuel a bit worse than Jaeger. Oh, as long as he can stay in that slipstream and with that group, he can save some fuel, of course. Oh, looks like those 4 drivers are considering the no-stop strategy. Lap count 32 to be expected for the top runners. We'll see how the fuel and the tires are when we hit lap 16. This will be a good indicator, and if a no stop is possible or not. All the drivers do is pushing, used quite some fuel. The same goes for Nick, and Nick is destroying his front left tire. BMO way smoother with the inputs, by the looks. Gets to look down the inside into the second hairpin. Will he keep that position? No, another side-by-side racing action. And Nick, with his pretty bad front left tire, probably has a hard time to get the grip out of those tires with the wide outside line. This all helps Stu now, of course. We opened up a little gap. Oh, we see some fighting happening. I think there was a penalty for Jaeger. So good news that Richie was close behind and he can get that toe and keep in the mix for the battle for P2 at the moment. Shelty nearly at 50 liters remaining, lap 13, so that fuel won't be lasting. Tires are still looking okay. And Blasi with a massive fuel saving run. That Audi TT, it's a really good car when you want to fuel save. Whereas strong third and fourth gear with lower revs, and then as long as he has the slipstream, he can short shift the car and even do some lift and coast. Exactly what is happening. 6th gear, lift and coast in the slipstream, not really losing any time. The task for Richie and Jaeger to close that gap again to those 2 drivers. Let's see, Stu maintains his gap to BMO, who has a penalty, and Nick near the end of his tire life on the front left. Probably needs to do at least one more to get to lap 15. Then hope with a lighter car towards the end, the tire will also improve a little. Rick also suffering now with that tire wear. I guess you can see that both Rick and Nick are using a gamepad. And it's not that easy to look after the tires. I think most of the other drivers are using a wheel, so they have a bit of an advantage when it comes down to the tire saving. Oh, hello, some door banging between Blasi and B. B backing out for now through the uphill right-hander, and this gives Ritchie and Jaeger the opportunity to get back into the mix and into position for a battle. Oh, but no, they decide to race each other. They also do side-by-side racing, because why not? Blasi kept that position for now. Aggressive over the curb on the entry. Final sector. A little gap to Ritchie and Jaeger again. Looks like Jaeger with the slipstream run this time. Okay, pulls alongside, goes for the inside line, brakes late. Yeah. Gets that position for now, but it looks, yeah. Wait. But this cost a little bit of time, so the gap to be racing and Blasi went up again. And we're lap 16 now. Shelty pit, Rick is in for the pit stop. Nick went for one more. So will we see Shelty as well pitting this lap? He goes for another one. Let's quickly count the much of a gap it is. Yeah, 5 seconds, 6 seconds maybe to Blasi and B Racing. Next drivers are in the pits. The BMO pitting, Nick pitting. Rick on some fresh medium tires. Will he get a look at an undercut situation? Maybe it takes quite some time for the car to appear at the pit stop. Pit stop crew is still waiting for their drivers. Where is Rick entering the final sector? Here we go. Nick's car with his crew, the BMO as well. Serving that penalty, Nick leaving the pits. Where is Rick? Just crossing the finish line. And Shelty is in. Ooh, 3 seconds for Nick. Pit entry, pit exit. But still has a little gap. This means Blasi back leading this race, be racing in P2. Blasi with that penalty. This might help Jaeger and Ritchie. Now, again, Ritchie also has a penalty. Stu, MP5 stayed out. Don't think he can make it till the end on the fuel. Shelty now leaving the pits. Look at that gap now. So the pit stop here. Blasi entering the final sector, while Shelty then left the pits and entering the middle sector. So a big time loss. And while doing a pit stop. Time loss, that's what Blasi is gonna face now. So B Racing should take the lead. Here we go. Blasi in P2 and Jaeger gets the benefit of the slipstream now. Ricci, after serving his penalty, I think lost the contact. Now it's close, just outside of that slipstream range. Stu now pitting as well. So Shelty up to P5. BMO into the final sector. Nick also entering the chicanes, and Rick doing the same. So where's Stu? He stays in front of BMO. Yeah, okay, nice one. So staying out longer, going for a bit of an overcut and having rash tires once again. And lap 20, and the fuel is looking good for the top runners. Blasi saved more fuel than anyone else. Tires also looking okay still for the drivers. Not much of a difference between the top three. Ricci used a little bit more of his tire life on the front left, and a little bit the fuel, he brought that back, I think, on the same level now as the top three, but it's outside of that slipstream, so this will be tough to get back into the slipstream and join this group. So we're 25 minutes in, 15 minutes to go. And our top three runners within 1.5 seconds at this stage. Blasi with a good exit. 17.3, 18.0, 17.8. So depending on the previous lap and the final sector, especially looking at usually low to mid 117s for the race pace for the no-stopper. Let's see the Audi engine in the TT Cup car and get the view, the racing action, and from the leader. It's still in fuel saving mode, not revving to the maximum. Still saving some fuel for the end. That early lift and coast again. Hard to tell at the moment who will get the victory. It looks like it will be decided between Blasi Racing and Jaeger. The gap to Ricci is probably just too big, so just comes around the hairpin. Hard over the curbs. unsettles the car a little bit. And also Jaeger in short shift mode. Racing, is he a choice? Sitting between the two cars, probably is saving a little bit of fuel behind Blasi at this stage. Let's compare tires and the fuel. Better tires for Blasi, also a bit better fuel. Fuel for Jaeger is lower at this stage. Be racing with a good run out of the final turn. Might go for a move now. Or will it be a bump down the straight? Oh, sitting behind is saving the fuel. With just over 10 minutes to go. Nine laps to go, including this one. It could be still a little bit too early to go for the attack. So still a bit of mind games probably happening between the drivers who can save more fuel, look after the tires a bit better. Tough to tell at this stage. For now it looks like Blasi with the fuel advantage can push towards the end. Probably a bit more. Will be racing, go for the move now. He looks down the inside. Has the run. Again, side by side into the hairpin we go. Blasi still there. Oh, contact between the two. And there's an opportunity for Jaeger. Oh, be racing lost a little bit of momentum for that brief moment. So drops down into third still. Of course, it's right behind Jaeger. And has a chance to go for a move. Let's have a look. Richie, the tire wear is kicking in now. Struggling. Where is Shelty? All by himself. And P5, Stu also. Big gap to the other drivers. P6. BMO. Nick and Rick, they're not having a close battle, so we stay with the top three for now. And here we go, could be racing, not wasting any time to get back into P2 using the slipstream, the toe, and the good top end in that Scirocco. And it's right behind Blasi again. I think the drivers are getting ready now for the final punch soon. It's not much between those three. The tire wear looking pretty similar. Still that fuel advantage could be vital for Blasi. what they run out of the final turn. Little gaps, he might be safe this time. But maybe I spoke too soon. He used all of that slipstream assist down the straight. And again, it's so close. At lap 27, so 5.5 laps to go. Who will draw first blood now? Who's gonna risk it? Someone feeling brave enough to not yet. I think still it's still like save as much fuel as possible to be in a position to attack later on. It's yeah, through the middle sector, final sector, it's very tough to overtake. So that's why. Oh, and here we have a big moment in the race. Blasi and a disconnect while leading the race. So that is a big bummer, of course, for Blasi, the championship leader. Loses some big points to B Racing. Looks his closest, fiercest competitor in the series. P2 currently. Alright, so now the battle down to 2 cars. B Racing versus Jaeger. B Racing with the fuel advantage at this stage. I can tell that with the Swift unable to push like the car, so otherwise you cannot get the car with a no stop across the line. And B Racing is now putting the hammer down. Suddenly goes down to 1/16 again, so already a second at this stage, I think, the gap. Richie fuel saving and tire saving in P3. Nothing changes here. Shelty P4. Let's have a look at Stu. 16.0, personal best last time round. It's a great lap time. A second for BMO. It looks like the gap to Nick is still big enough. And Nick just coming around that final turn. Nick low on fuel, maybe too low on fuel to make it till the end. And the front left again not looking that good. On front left also the issue for Rick at this stage. Will be facing some blue flags very soon. It's still roughly a second between P and Jaeger. 3 laps to go. He gained another 2/10 that last lap, so he is opening up that gap, trying to sneak out of the slipstream range. Fuel now getting low for Jaeger. B Racing still with that advantage, and he uses it now. He is using more of his revs see the blue flags now. The racing will be starting the penultimate lap. Another 16.7. That's the lap time for Jaeger. Let's see, 17.0, trying his best to keep up with the Dutch driver. Rick got out of the way, doesn't want to interfere with that battle, of course. Let's quickly have a look at the other drivers. No other close battle at this stage. Bigger gaps between the other drivers. Richie on his final lap. Low fuel, dead tires. It looks like a podium finish though for Richie on one of his favorite tracks. Not. So yeah, let's get back to the 2 leaders. Be racing now with I think, a gap that puts him outside of the slipstream range. Gets another 116 in. 17.2 for Jaeger on that final lap. Richie will cross the line and finish in P3. Sees the checkered flag. Shelty and P4 with the pit stop. So yeah, top 3 with the no stop, and that was the way to go for this race. Stu will cross the line in P5. Next one is a BMO. Solid drive. Earn some good points for the P6 finish. Nick will be happy that this race is over with that tire wear. And he sees the flag as well. And then we see B Racing crossing the line, kept the gap to Jaeger, roughly 2 seconds. Jaeger P2, and Rick sees the checkered flag in P8. Alright. So that was the replay. Let's bring up the race results graphics. So B Racing with the W. Jaeger on the podium in P2. Richie P3. Shelty P4. And the fastest lap of the race, 15.7. Stu in P5. BMO 6th position. Nick in the Peugeot 7. Rick in P8. And then we have unlucky Plazi with that disconnect. That still scores points for P9, but probably a win or Blasi gone in this one. Alright, so that is coverage for Touring Cars Cup round number 6, part of the World Series in this year's GT driver career themed season. So next week we stay in Europe. We head over to France. Let me go to St. Croix. It's layout B, a fast flowing layout. Most likely we don't see a no stop in for that one. Yeah, so that's it all from my side here. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed that one, and as always, take care. Love you all, UPKA. See you soon, bye bye.